Pakistan's UNSC posts. The Pakistan in United Nations Security Council, you know very well what UNSC means. This is the principal organ, and it has 5 permanent members, 10 non-permanent members. So Pakistan is over here. And the job of this principal organ is to maintain peace and stability in the entire world. Technically speaking, this is the world's most powerful body. But it looks powerful only on paper because it is not able to resolve the conflicts which are happening. It is not able to instill peace and stability. It seems so as of now. And countries like Pakistan are there. And Pakistan are becoming, members, or they are chairing various groupings. Now, background and context. June 5, Pakistan announced its appointments to key UN Security Council positions for 2025. First of all, it became the chair of the Taliban Sanctions Committee. Resolution 1988. Responsible for enforcing sanctions, asset freezes, travel bans, and arms embargoes on individuals and entities linked to the Taliban threatening peace and security in Afghanistan. So this committee deals with that. And coincidentally, Taliban is in power in Afghanistan. Vice chair of the Counter-Terrorism Committee. Second post, it got that, vice chair. It oversees implementation of international counter-terrorism frameworks, including combating terrorist financing and enhancing global cooperation. Maze ki baat ye hai ki, a state who has been known to sponsor terrorism is now getting the chair and vice chair of these committees. सबसे बड़ा problem is that there is no definition of terrorism which is universally accepted. There are discrepancies. Means a single person who can be a terrorist for us can be a hero for someone else. And due to this non-availability of a universal consensus on the definition of terrorism, problems are there. So, this is how things are. Pakistan also became co-chair of 2 UNSC informal working groups. One on documentation and procedural issues with Denmark, another newly formed group with Greece to evaluate effectiveness of UN sanctions. Moreover, Pakistan is set to preside over UNSC in July 2025. This is also concerning. But thankfully, any country who presides over UNSC presides for only 1 month, and a non-permanent member can preside over UNSC. It is not like permanent members will only preside. This will allow Islamabad to set Security Council's agenda. This is Pakistan's 8th term as a non-permanent member of the UNSC, with tenure from January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2026. If you become a non-permanent member, you stay a non-permanent member for 2 years. But you become the chair of UNSC for 1 month only. In these 2 years, there can be multiple instances where you will become the chair. Now, it all happens on rotation. And Pakistan's UN ambassador, Asim Iftikhar Ahmed, declared the intention to use the platform to highlight the Kashmir issue and spotlight terrorism concerns with a clear anti-India agenda. Obviously, Pakistan will be doing that. Pakistan will be highlighting the terrorist activities which is happening in its territory, like by Baloch Liberation Army or Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. And Pakistan government says clearly and very vocally that India is supporting these terrorist groups. Next is UNSC structure and membership. The UNSC comprises 5 permanent members: China, France, Russia, UK, USA. 10 non-permanent members elected for 2 years terms. Pakistan is one for 2025-26. Then other key chairs in 2025 include Algeria, Denmark, Guyana and Russia. Vice chairs Taliban Sanctions Committee they are. Denmark is chair ISIL and Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee, and Algeria is chair of Counter-Terrorism Committee. India previously chaired the Counter-Terrorism Committee in 2022 during its 2021-22 UNSC term. India consistently highlights Pakistan as a sanctuary for UN proscribed terrorist groups. Historic example, Osama bin Laden's presence in Abbottabad, Pakistan, until his death in 2011, demonstrates Pakistan's role in harboring terrorists. Recent developments in UNSC membership. On June 3, 2025, means this month only, 5 new non-permanent members were elected for 2026-27. Bahrain, Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, Latvia and Colombia. Again, to have become a member, you need to be a full-time member of United Nations organizations. And these elections keep UNSC membership dynamic and affect global security agendas. But the problem is that they are not increasing the membership of the permanent seats. That is a problem. But anyways, Pakistan becoming or chairing various committees, subcommittees under UNSC, and is expected to be the chair of UNSC in July 2025 also. What is going to be on agenda? What are going to be the challenges for India? Because whatever will be there on agenda, they are going to be against India. They are going to target India. That is why implications and challenges for India. Pakistan's diplomatic platform to push its narrative that UNSC is going to be. By chairing key terrorism related committees, Pakistan can project its narrative on Kashmir, deny or minimize accusations of supporting terrorism, shift blame onto India, accusing of supporting insurgent groups like Baloch militant and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the Pakistani Taliban, which is called as. Dilution of international support for India. UNSC statements condemning terror attacks in India, example Pahalgam attack, have been weakened under Pakistan's influence. Now, this hinders India's efforts to obtain unequivocal global condemnation of terrorism against it. Influence of UNSC proceedings. In May 2025 marked the first UNSC closed-door consultations on the India-Pakistan question since 2019. That was there in May 2025 in UNSC. Pakistan's roles enabled it to influence framing and discussions, possibly hindering India's narrative. Because India is not present, so who is going to present India's narrative over there? Is it going to be Russia, or is it going to be someone else? Because Russia is dealing a lot in itself. So we as of now can't say what will happen. Will Pakistan empower, or Pakistan, I would say, be dominant in spreading its narrative? Let's see. Then China-Pakistan strategic axis. This axis has been there. This can be further, be better because China is a permanent member. China is already there. Pakistan is going to chair it. Then this axis can obviously be there and target India. Pakistan-Afghanistan diplomatic ties. So they want to elevate, they have agreed to elevate ties to ambassadorial level facilitated by China, because China is the only country in the world which has established diplomatic ties at the highest level with Taliban. The Taliban's regime ambiguous position, actually coupled with China's growing influence in Kabul, adds complexity to India's regional diplomacy. Because see, if this happens, then currently though we are dealing with China-Pakistan nexus, but then we will be dealing with China-Afghanistan-Pakistan nexus. That is going to be more detrimental for us. Opposition to India's UNSC permanent membership. Pakistan is expected to strongly oppose India's bid for permanent UNSC membership, mobilizing support against it. Let's see what happens then. India's diplomatic response. India has actively engaged with UNSC members, excluding Pakistan, China and Somalia, highlighting Pakistan's role in terrorism, pressured global financial institutions like IMF and World Bank to reconsider aid to Pakistan amid fears of terror financing. Then renewed efforts to reinstate Pakistan on the FATF grey list. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force. This is again a multilateral organization formed in the year 1989. The aim of this multilateral organization is to tackle money laundering and terror financing. It releases 3 lists. One list is blacklist, in which it is sure that the countries which are there in the blacklist are, doing money laundering and terror financing. Currently, Iran, North Korea are there. Then there is this grey list in which there is suspicion that they might be involved in money laundering and terror financing, and Pakistan was in the grey list from 2018 till 2022. But now it is not. We are pressurizing ki bhai वापस से लेकर आओ. And when you are there in the grey list, UN, IMF, World Bank and IMF, they become extremely cautious to fund you. So we want to do that. Indian delegations visited capitals like Washington, Moscow, Brussels and London for support. Despite these efforts, India faces a challenging diplomatic environment due to Pakistan's entrenched position in China's backing. So this was there. Regional and global significance. Pakistan chairing terrorism-related UNSC committees is paradoxical, given its documented support for terror groups targeting India. We've shown that images multiple times, ID cards which are recovered from the terrorist Pakistan Army ID cards, but still it is being given that. The situation highlights India's difficulties in controlling the global counter-terrorism narrative. Close China-Pakistan coordination also in UNSC and increasing Pakistan-Afghanistan ties, that can also be detrimental for the entire region. Implications for global counterterrorism. Obviously, there is a diplomatic challenge. Pakistan's role in UNSC is rising, and that is a challenge for India. Conflict of interest. As the chair of the Taliban Sanctions Committee, Pakistan's enforcement of sanctions may be biased due to its strategic ties with the Taliban. It will not impose sanctions on the Taliban because it wants to improve its relations with the Taliban, which are very complex as of now. So the purpose of that committee might not be fulfilled. That is what, conflict of interests is like. Consensus-based decisions. UNSC committees operate on consensus, allowing Pakistan to stall or dilute resolutions favorable to it or its allies. International scrutiny. Countries including India and permanent UNSC members will closely monitor Pakistan's actions to ensure genuine counter-terrorism efforts. So, this is what is going to happen.